I, an alpha, was diagnosed as pregnant. I was so furious I swore out loud, determined to track him down. That was until my best friend, looking a little awkward, confessed. Actually, the child in your belly is mine. Wait, you're a beta, aren't you? Then, can we still be brothers? 1. The hospital was noisy. I wore a mask, clutched the test report in my arms, and sneaked into the consultation room. I closed and locked the door, moving with the precision of a well-rehearsed routine. Only after making sure no one could come in did I fling the report onto the desk. Take another look. This has to be a misdiagnosis, right? The doctor squinted at the paper, holding it up for a closer look. He nodded as he scanned it. I've been a doctor for over 20 years. I've never misdiagnosed anyone. Impossible. I slammed my hand on the desk. Are you sure? Absolutely. He pushed the report toward me, pointing at several test results. Even if you don't believe me, you have to believe the numbers. They all indicate that you're pregnant. I staggered back, struck like I'd been hit by lightning. But, I'm an alpha. I stammered. 2. At first, I had only felt a bit off. Occasional abdominal cramps, a strange sinking sensation that came in waves, leaving me uncomfortable. I went straight to the hospital and registered at the gastroenterology department. After a series of tests, the doctor said nothing and immediately transferred me to gynecology. I hadn't been in the room long before the doctor revealed the results. You're showing early pregnancy symptoms. Let's take a blood test first. I tried to argue, even pulling out my ID to prove my gender. The doctor remained unfazed. First, go for a blood test. And that test became proof of my pregnancy. I ran out of the hospital in a panic, only to be stopped at the entrance. Roman had one arm around my shoulders, halting my headless flailing escape. Where are you rushing off to? Then I remembered, I hadn't come alone today. Roman had accompanied me to the consultation room. When the doctor mentioned the transfer, I sensed something was wrong and sent Roman to wait on a chair downstairs. Roman had been my best friend since kindergarten, close enough to literally share a pair of underwear. No matter what happened, he was always the first person I'd talk to. I never hid anything. After all, we'd known each other so long. He knew exactly what kind of person I was, even the few moles on my body. There were no secrets between us. But today, I hesitated. What if it was a misdiagnosis? What if the hospital had made a mistake? Why aren't you saying anything? What did the results show? Seeing me silent, Roman reached for the report. I panicked, dodged him, and frantically tore the paper into pieces, throwing them in the trash. This hospital's no good. Let's go get a second opinion. Another blood test, pregnant. Second, pregnant. Third, pregnant. I went to every hospital I could think of. Every result said the same thing, pregnant. Roman checked the puncture marks on my arm, frowning continuously. What's going on? Why all these hospitals? I had initially been afraid of a misdiagnosis, so I hadn't told him. But now, pregnancy was a fact, and there was no need to hide it. My heart felt dead. Actually, I'm pregnant. Roman froze mid-motion. 3. I thought it was a misdiagnosis. Who knew it was real? The doctor said alphas have a very small chance of pregnancy, but it's not impossible. Roman blinked, his tone unreadable. Pregnant? Yes. It's so annoying, and the doctor says surgery isn't an option yet. Roman, you're my best friend. You have to keep this a secret. If anyone finds out, how am I supposed to stay an alpha? I tugged at my hair in frustration. It must have been at the last dinner. If I find out who, I'll kill them. Roman paused, glancing at me with something unsaid. Caught up in my own panic, I didn't notice the strange look in his eyes. No, today I have to track him down. I frantically contacted everyone who had attended that dinner. By the time night fell, I hadn't gotten a single useful lead. I slumped into the passenger seat, deflated. Can't find anyone, ugh. Roman didn't reply, gripping the steering wheel, lips tightly pressed. Roman? I patted his shoulder. Are you okay? Tired? The moment my hand touched his shoulder, he shivered like he'd been startled. No, just thinking. Hungry? Don't be polite. Let's go, food's on me. I pulled up the navigation and selected a restaurant. This one, new place. Heard the food's good. Roman didn't move. He pushed his bangs back and took a deep breath. Beckett, there's something I've never told you. Seeing his serious tone, I tensed. What is it? I want you to stay calm when I tell you. Hey, we've got this kind of relationship. Say it straight, I can handle anything you tell me. Roman turned to me, looking me in the eyes. Actually, the child in your belly is mine. 4. On the day of the team building event, I had planned to get a ride home by myself. But maybe it was too late, or the restaurant was too far out of the way. I stood by the roadside for a long time and didn't see a single car. Even the ride-hailing app kept showing, searching for drivers, but no one accepted. The cold night wind gave me a headache, and I couldn't wait any longer, so I decided to walk home. But I was too drunk. Halfway there, I collapsed onto a park bench and couldn't even get up, so I had to call Roman for help. At this, Roman's face turned slightly red. He pushed up his glasses, trying to act calm. When we got home, I got you settled and wanted to head back to my room to rest. But you came over as soon as I lay down. You said you wanted to sleep with me, and the moment we were on the bed, you started kissing me like crazy. No matter what I said or how I tried to push you off, you wouldn't get off. Roman's face grew even redder, his eyes dropping to avoid mine. I stood there frozen, as if petrified, slowly recalling fragments of the chaotic memories. I did try to stop you, but you were so insistent. In the end, 5. After we graduated, Roman and I moved in together. The moment we got home, he immediately dropped to his knees. His head was low, and he kept asking me to forgive him. Beckett, this is entirely my fault. I'll take responsibility. I'll take care of you. Even the surgery, you let me come with you. Anything, as long as you forgive me. I was dumbstruck. Roman and I had met in kindergarten. Back then, I never imagined we'd become friends. By nature, we seemed like people from two different worlds. One was quiet and scholarly, knowledgeable about astronomy and geography, a bookworm even for entertainment. The other spent every day getting into trouble outdoors, raiding bird nests, crawling through dog holes, losing teeth and still playing rough. He thought I was too rowdy. I thought he was boring. In middle school, something happened that pushed our friendship forward rapidly. High school and college, we shared dorms. Over all these years, Roman became my unquestioned best friend. Following Roman's voice, I looked down. He knelt before me, hands clenched on his knees. Even though I had forced the situation, Roman wasn't angry, he was asking for my forgiveness. He clearly didn't want to ruin our precious friendship. Thinking of this made my chest ache. I felt even more guilty. Don't do this. Get up. This is partly my fault too. I got drunk in the middle of the night, you couldn't have stopped me. These are small things. And honestly, given how long we've been friends, giving a brother a kid, it's nothing. Just a small thing. I patted my chest. Relax. You're my most important brother. Nothing can change that. I meant it. Back in middle school, I had been isolated by the whole class after offending some local bullies. No one dared to talk to me. Only Roman did. Even when the bullies confronted us, he stayed calm, expressionless, adjusting his glasses. I thought he was amazing back then. And then we got beaten together. Although we couldn't take on the older bullies, Roman was clever. After one defeat, he knew how to get me away safely and even gathered evidence of their bullying. For that alone, no matter what he did later, I'd be willing to be his best friend for life. I kept reassuring Roman. Besides, you're amazing. You got a single alpha pregnant, pretty impressive. No wonder you're my best bro. For some reason, my words didn't seem to comfort him. His arms tensed, and his breathing was heavier. Roman gripped my hand and promised, Beckett, I'll take care of you. 6. As he said, Roman took care of me diligently every day. 3 meals a day, always prepared differently. He even brought a lunchbox to see me at noon. The food was balanced and appetizing, and I dug in without hesitation. Your cooking keeps improving, I complimented as I ate. Roman glanced at me, the corners of his mouth lifting slightly. Slow down, no one's taking it from you. Roman, you don't have to bring me food every day. The company has a cafeteria. Getting up early to cook must be exhausting. Roman shook his head. The company food is too greasy, and delivery isn't clean. You need to be careful now. I can't trust outside food. It's just 2 meals. It's not tiring. Roman didn't just cook. He handled all the housework. Dirty clothes went straight to the laundry basket, and within an hour, they'd be clean and hung to dry. Even at night, he made sure the bed was perfectly arranged for me, tucking me in himself. I thought he was overthinking. I'm an alpha, strong and healthy. A little pregnancy wouldn't leave me too weak to lift my hands. But Roman didn't believe it. Whenever I picked up a cleaning tool, he'd immediately appear, scoop me back to bed, and finish the chores in a whirl. Beckett. Before bed, Roman tucked me in as usual, but this time, he didn't leave. He stood by my side, lips moving slightly. I heard omegas need alpha pheromones during pregnancy. Roman leaned on the bed, ready to stay with me. Do you need them? If so, we can sleep together tonight. No, I said, embarrassed to trouble him, and pushed him out. I sleep fine on my own. And you're a beta, no pheromones. Go back to bed. Roman lingered at the door, looking at me several times before returning to his room. Before closing his door, he warned, if you can't sleep, come find me. I waved him off. Don't worry about me. Go rest. You know I'll sleep right next to the pillow, bro. Confident, I snuggled back into bed, finding a comfortable position. But in the middle of the night, I suddenly woke up. Couldn't sleep. 7. I tossed and turned all night, only managing a light sleep in the early hours of the morning. At first, I thought it was because I had overeaten a couple of nights ago. The next day, I deliberately ate less and went to bed early. But over the following days, not only did I fail to sleep well, my sleep quality worsened, leaving 2 deep dark circles under my eyes. Roman noticed immediately and insisted on taking me to the hospital. I refused without thinking. It's nothing. I'm just unusually energetic lately, you know, every alpha has those days. That night, I couldn't sleep again. After so many sleepless nights, I started to feel uneasy. My heart felt jittery, I had no sense of security, and I wanted to hold on to something. I tossed and turned, until I couldn't take it anymore and quietly crept to Roman's room. His door was slightly ajar. I tiptoed over and stood by the bedside, taking a deep breath. Betas don't emit pheromones, so all I could smell was a faint scent of laundry detergent. Even so, it was already more comforting than before, and sleepiness began to wash over me. After a while, I still didn't feel satisfied, so I leaned closer to him. Roman happened to turn over, and the blanket slid off him. There was nothing covering him, muscles clearly defined, suddenly right in front of me. Even though I had the same, Roman's body seemed to radiate an inexplicable attraction. I tried to look away but kept getting drawn back. Finally, I couldn't resist and reached out to touch him. I might have grabbed too hard. Roman let out a low hum. Afraid I had startled him, I immediately stood to slip away. Before I could take a step, his voice came from behind me. Beckett? He fumbled to put on his glasses. When he saw me, the tension in his body relaxed. Were you hungry? Caught in the act, I was so embarrassed I wanted to disappear. I scratched my head, unable to form a sentence. Sleeping in the middle of the night, coming to your brother for comfort. It didn't sound normal at all. Roman thought I was hungry and pulled back the blanket to get up. I'll make you something to eat. I lunged onto him, blocking his movement. Beckett, what's wrong? Come on, get up, you're hungry, right? Roman tried to push me but didn't dare use much force, his hands awkwardly pressing against me. No, it's just, I stammered, eyes darting. I just can't sleep. Silence filled the room. After a while, Roman let out a low chuckle. Then let's sleep together. 8. Roman's room was just like mine, with only a single bed. 2 grown men on one bed was a bit cramped. If we didn't snuggle close, someone could easily roll off. Sleeping so close to my brother felt strange at first, but the comforting warmth made it impossible to leave. I looked at Roman. He lay on the edge of the bed to avoid crowding me, seemingly ready to fall off with any turn. Gratitude surged through me. Roman was taller than me, one single bed was fine for him alone, but now with me, he must have been cramped. Still, he didn't ask me to leave. I tugged at Roman's sleep shirt, pulling him a little closer. Don't fall off. Without hesitation, Roman leaned in, looping his arms around my waist, pulling me fully into his embrace. Our faces pressed together, shoulders touching, stomachs pressed, bodies fully entwined. Heat rushed through me, and I shivered, memories unconsciously flickering through my mind. Roman was strong, well-built and attractive. I carefully watched his expression. Thankfully, he was a beta and couldn't detect my pheromones, otherwise, he might have realized what I was thinking. I tried to turn over, but halfway through, Roman pressed me back. Still can't sleep? That night was a complete accident. If Roman had realized my other thoughts, our friendship might have been in serious trouble. No, I just like sleeping facing the wall. I turned toward the wall. Seeing that Roman didn't stop me, I slowly closed my eyes. Behind me, Roman's eyes were still alert. Once my breathing evened out, he gently reached out, resting his hand on my waist. 9. That night, sleeping with Roman, I had the best sleep I'd had in days. The only problem was that the bed was small, so I woke up a bit stiff. I rubbed my sore legs and got up. On the dining table, Roman had already prepared breakfast. I sat down without hesitation and started eating heartily. Beckett, when are you going back for a follow-up at the hospital? Hearing this, I suddenly remembered I had missed my appointment. I think it was yesterday. Roman's expression darkened, and he reached for the car keys. We'll go to the hospital after breakfast. No way. I refused immediately. I'll go after I rest, or I'll lose my perfect attendance. Just as I said that, a notification pinged from my phone, an alert for a transfer. My eyes lit up. Let's go, now. The doctor recognized me immediately. You're the alpha who was pregnant last time. He then looked at Roman. And you must be his partner? I stiffened, but before I could explain, the doctor started lecturing. You shouldn't have let him come alone last time. It's dangerous. Roman didn't deny it once. He kept nodding, apologizing, and checking on my condition. And strangely, it felt completely normal. After another round of tests, we returned to the consultation room. The doctor held my report, frowning. There's no major issue, but the gestational sac of an alpha doesn't develop well. For safety, the surgery might take longer than usual, about 65 days, but that's approximate. Exact timing depends on the report. I felt suddenly weak, hopeless, sinking into the chair. But, the doctor paused. Are you sure you want to terminate this pregnancy? The chances of conception between a male alpha and a male beta are small. If you pass up this opportunity, you may never have another chance. A flicker of something unusual passed through Roman's eyes, but he quickly hid it. All right, okay, just discuss and decide. The doctor typed on the keyboard. Here are a few precautions to follow. Compared to me, Roman listened much more seriously, even taking notes on his phone. Before we left, the doctor specifically advised, during this time, it's best to pause sexual activity. My face flushed instantly. When I looked at Roman, his face was twice as red. We're not, I began, but before I could finish, Roman replied, okay. 10. Lying next to Roman had always felt a little awkward, and after what the doctor said today, it felt even more uncomfortable no matter how I positioned myself. But the moment I separated from him, I couldn't sleep for most of the night. I had no choice but to force myself to sleep. Roman noticed my restlessness. He pressed down gently on my tossing body and asked, is this uncomfortable? Do you want to take off your pajamas? Take them off? That would make it even harder to sleep. I intended to refuse, but Roman was faster than me. By the time I realized it, he had already lifted my top. Sleeping naked helps you rest better. As he moved, his knuckles brushed against my chest. After removing my shirt, he reached for my sleep pants. I hurriedly pulled them off myself and dove under the covers to cover up. All right, go to sleep. We still have work tomorrow. That night, I couldn't stop dreaming about Roman. At first, everything was normal. We were just pledging brotherhood. But as we did, my clothes vanished, and Roman started acting strangely. Sweat rolled down his tensed muscles, and I was being held at the waist by him. In the dream, I was doing things I couldn't describe, all the while praising and encouraging Roman. This dream lasted the whole night, and I woke up drenched in sweat before dawn. Realizing it was just a dream, I breathed a sigh of relief. If Roman ever knew I had such dreams, our friendship might really be in trouble. Roman was still asleep, lying on his side, one arm draped over me. Since it was still early, I tried to adjust my position, but something felt off. 11. When I lifted the covers, the once warm and dry bedding was soaked. Worse, a large patch was on Roman himself. I carefully moved his arm aside, my mind racing on how to deal with it. Pulling off his pants directly was impossible. He'd wake up. Cutting it off seemed like the best solution. But if Roman woke up and saw such a big chunk missing from the sheet and his sleepwear, he'd definitely ask why. I sank into deep hesitation. Then, without me noticing, Roman's eyes opened. Startled, I instinctively lay back down, pretending to sleep. But he was already awake, and his hand found the damp patch without fail. He froze, then looked at me. I offered an awkward smile. Roman, you probably won't believe this. It looks like you wet the bed. 12. Roman stared at me for a moment, then laughed. That's actually kind of embarrassing. Beckett, you're not going to laugh at me, right? Thinking I'd gotten away with it, I even tried to sound cheerful. No, it's fine. I'll help you wash it. Before I could get up, Roman gently hugged me. I'll handle it. I hurriedly refused. No, it's okay. I can't. What's the big deal? Aren't we brothers? One sentence from Roman silenced me. Not only did he not resist my contact, he was willing to put himself aside and think of me. What reason did I have to refuse? His hand moved downward. I'll help you here too. From this angle, the slight opening of his shirt revealed the lines of his muscles. The normally calm, reserved man was now doing something unexpectedly intimate, giving a strange, intense feeling. Even his glasses perched on his nose added an aura of restraint. The next second, I kissed him. 13. After the kiss, the corner of Roman's mouth turned red. I scratched my face awkwardly and leaned closer to him. Well, next time you can kiss my mouth too. Roman shook his head. Taking care of you is what I should do. And he followed through. I realized for the first time how proactive and persistent Roman could be. He cared for me regardless of the situation. Any little hint from me, and he would kiss me, genuinely comforting me. The more earnest he was, the more embarrassed I felt. I had no choice but to crawl into his covers before he fully woke. Roman woke with a start and instinctively reached for me. Hey, don't move. I pushed his hand away. Why should only you be allowed to kiss me? Are we still brothers or not? I kept a determined expression. If you keep this up, I won't let you kiss me either. Roman pressed his lips together, and after a long moment, released. Fine, but don't overdo it. Have you forgotten I'm an alpha? I was confident, but this kiss nearly left me breathless. What's wrong? Seeing I didn't immediately kiss him back, Roman raised his head. Still too much? No, no. I laughed, gasping. It's just my first time seeing a beta with such strong lung capacity. The atmosphere shifted. Roman grabbed my chin. You've kissed other betas before? 14. His expression darkened instantly. Yes or no? Have you forgotten I'm the only alpha in our dorm? I pushed his hand away. Roman's expression softened, and he didn't try to stop me again. I gasped, still forcing calm. If you ever want me to kiss you like this again, come find me. Beckett, are you serious? How could I not be? If my brother asked for help, how could I refuse? I frowned. Of course. Then again. 15. A few weeks later, I went back for a follow-up at the hospital. The report showed my pheromones were stable, and the fetus was developing normally. Surgery could happen soon. I pushed Roman aside and approached the doctor. Will this surgery affect me as an alpha in the future? The doctor looked a bit confused but explained carefully, no. He pulled up the ultrasound, pointing at a small shadow. Generally, embryo survival is low for an alpha, but this one is developing well. Looking at the tiny shadow, I felt an odd, intense emotion. I looked away, voice stiff. So, when can the surgery happen? On the way out, Roman stayed silent. Though still considerate in his actions, something felt off. I tried to lighten the mood. Freedom soon, Roman. We should celebrate with a meal, right? No reply. You won't have to get up early to cook for me, can sleep in again. Doesn't that sound amazing? Still no reply. You also don't have to hover around me all the time. With all that free time, why not find a partner? Aren't you tired of being single? The temperature in the car seemed to drop, and Roman's mood was visibly sour. I shut my mouth, not daring to say another word. Betas were truly hard to read. 16. As the surgery approached, I finally started feeling the reality of carrying the baby. I became increasingly sleepy, and my appetite grew significantly. Roman had anticipated this and had already prepared snacks and a small blanket for naps. The fruit on my desk was neatly lined up, and I happily ate. A thought creeping into my mind, maybe I could just live like this with Roman from now on. He was skilled, meticulous, and handsome. But what if his family pushed him to marry someone? My chewing paused. The thought of Roman being with someone else made me uncomfortable. I shook my head, forcing those messy thoughts away. Even though I was close to Roman, I couldn't always trouble him like this. I went back to eating my fruit. By the afternoon, I had finished all the food Roman had prepared. I was starving, and the delivery I ordered was delayed, so I had no choice but to check upstairs if Roman had any leftover snacks. Coming out of the elevator, I immediately spotted Roman at the printer. His tall, alpha-like frame was easy to recognize. Before I could walk over, someone ran past me straight toward Roman. Where they walked, a trail of sweet pheromones lingered. In the past, I might have been curious about which Omega had left the scent. Now, it just made me tense and resistant. 17. The Omega got close, speaking intimately to Roman, stepping after him even as he tried to back away. I felt my blood boil and quickly stepped between them. Can't you see he doesn't want to deal with you? Smelling the other's scent, I instinctively suppressed him with my own pheromones. The Omega flinched but still refused to leave. Who are you? None of your business. I'm his best bro. The Omega jumped at my louder tone, cursed something under his breath, and walked off. Once he was far enough, he excitedly pulled out his phone and started typing furiously. How did he end up liking you? Teach me. I realized a little late what I'd just done. Seeing the stairs around, I grabbed Roman and hid in the stairwell. Sorry, I don't know what came over me, I said. I just got really angry. Won't happen again. That morning, before we separated, Roman had seemed pensive and gloomy. Now, he looked cheerful, even with a faint smile. It's okay, don't worry about others. He rubbed my head comfortingly. Hungry? I'll get you something to eat. After that day, I became even more intolerant of anyone near Roman. Not seeing him for even an hour made me restless. Roman, instead of being annoyed, smiled brightly. He even increased the 6 dishes he made at dinner to 10. I ate with delight. Roman, you're so perfect. Maybe we shouldn't terminate the baby. I'll just marry you instead. After saying this, I waited a long time for Roman's reply. Turning back, I saw him holding a dirty plate, frozen at the table for who knows how long. I suddenly remembered the situation. I was just joking. Before I could finish, Roman walked over and took my hand. If you can say something like that, it means you like me a little, right? I froze. Yeah, kind of, like a bro. I stammered, my heart racing. But I don't see you as just a brother. I panicked. After all these years, you've never considered me a brother? That's not what I mean. Roman rubbed his brow. I like you, Beckett, not as a brother. I stared at him, stunned. Are you serious? Otherwise, why would I still be single and spend every day with you, an alpha, taking care of you every day, never getting close to anyone else? Hearing that, I couldn't help but smile. But another question arose. Then, can we still be brothers? Roman looked away slightly. 18. I thought brothers couldn't be lovers. Couples might break up, but brothers were forever. Most importantly, if I were with Roman, I wouldn't be able to embrace my alpha potential. I didn't want to risk losing my alpha abilities or ruin my bond with Roman, so I refused his request to date. Roman wasn't in a hurry. We returned to our usual routine. The only difference was that Roman's family started pressuring him to marry. He began going on frequent blind dates, meeting different omegas and female betas every day. Do you really have to go on these dates? I blocked the door, uncomfortable. Roman looked conflicted. I don't want to either. I'll be 29 after the new year. My family keeps pressuring me. I can't live with my brother forever. Beckett, you'll have your day too, he said. My chest ached as I grabbed Roman before he stepped out. I'll marry you. Don't see anyone else. Out of sight, the corner of Roman's mouth curved in secret. He quickly suppressed it, returning to his usual neutral expression, worry in his eyes. Wouldn't that be forcing you too much? It's okay, Beckett. You don't need to sacrifice yourself for me. I want to. It's no sacrifice. I really want to, but I only want to marry someone I love. I love you. I dove into Roman's arms, shaking his uniform collar. But I have one condition. Roman reached out and pulled me close. After we marry, I get to be on top. Roman paused, then grinned slyly. We'll see if you can handle that. 19. On surgery day, I was restless. Roman, are we terminating this baby? Roman was packing, not even looking up. Of course. His cold words stung. Why? You don't like kids? It would affect your life and could cause irreversible damage to your body. He pressed a kiss to my forehead. Let's go. He helped me with my shoes and led me out. Extra. During the pregnancy, we had endured 10 long months. After the baby was born, Roman and I finally had our first moment alone together. Once the room was tidied, I quietly crept back to the bedroom. Roman had been waiting on the bed for a long time, dressed in uniform. I couldn't help staring. He looked so serious normally, yet secretly, he could be so skilled. Roman looked at me expectantly. Come on. A few days ago, we had discussed who would take the lead. I didn't hesitate. The previous time had been an accident, drunk and unaware. Now fully sober, no beta could be stronger than me as an alpha. I pounced on him impatiently. 10 minutes later, I was pinned down, unable to move. I tried suppressing with pheromones, half of them, but then remembered, Roman was a beta. He wouldn't feel it. I was helpless. Noticing my distraction, Roman increased his force. Don't pass out like last time, understand?